Kali Linux install process in VirtualBox. First, enter computer BIOS. The first step to installing Kali Linux is to enter the BIOS menu on your computer, and the method is very easy. You enter the bootable flash drive into your computer USB slot. After that, you restart or shut down your computer first, then when your computer starts to live again, directly press the F2 or F10 button. Just adjust it to your computer, because every computer has a different BIOS setting according to its type. Second, setting boot menu. After entering the BIOS, then select boot menu and set the placement of your flash disk to the top is bootable, then save by pressing the F10 key. Third, enter into Kali Linux boot view. Then your computer will restart automatically. Enter the Kali Linux boot display, see the picture below. Fourth, select graphical install. Just choose graphical install because it's easier and doesn't take too long. 5. Select Kali Linux language. Select the language you will use for Kali Linux. Then specify your country's location. And you also have to configure your keyboard with the key map that matches you. 6. Determine geographical location. Determine the geographic location where you live. 7. Select the Kali Linux key map. Just choose the default, which is American English, because we don't use Chinese writing, keyboard, or Arabic. 8. Kali Linux installation process. During the installation process, it will copy files to your hard disk, investigate the interface network, and then it will ask you to enter the hostname for the Kali Linux system on your computer. 9. Fill Kali Linux hostname. In this guide, guidecode.com, enter the hostname Kali. 10. Contains domain network Kali Linux. Next, you can fill in default domain name to use on this system. And guidecode.com will it with local domain because the Kali Linux installation process is carried out in localhost. 11. Fill in your full name. Your full name will be used as your computer using data. 12. Fill in the Kali Linux non-root username. Then fill in the username for non-root user on the Kali Linux system. The username is up to you. 13. Fill in your Kali Linux password. You can create a password for your Kali Linux at will, and remember not to forget the password. 14. Set time zone. Also set your time zone to determine the clock that will appear you Kali Linux later. 15. Kali Linux hard drive partition process. The system will now investigate your disk and offer 4 options, as shown in the image below. Guidecode.com. Use all these on the guidecode.com computer and does not configure LVM or logical volume management, so you choose the first one, which is quite use the entire disk. 16. Select the hard drive to be used. Next, you select hard drive to be partitioned. At this stage, depending on your needs yourself, you can choose to keep all files in one partition by default. If your computer only has one hard drive, then the option that appears is also one, but if your computer has multiple hard drives, several options will appear as well. 17. Select partition setting type. After that, You will only have one last chance to review the disk configuration before the system installer makes irreversible change. For those of you who are still beginners, QuietCode.com recommend the following as shown in the image below. If you click continue, the system installation will run and you will have an almost complete installation. 18. Confirm the Kali Linux installation process on the hard disk. Thank you will be asked to select the network configuration whether you want to mirror it or not. Kali Linux uses a central repository to distribute application, and you have to enter the appropriate proxy information as needed. 19. Proxy server Kali Linux. At this stage, you just leave everything default, so you don't need to fill in the proxy server Kali Linux. 20. Choose the Kali Linux application package. This stage is the stage that distinguishes Kali Linux 2020 or old Kali Linux, because this is stage only available on Kali Linux 2020.1 and above. The Kali Linux application package provided is very complete, but for those of you who are still beginners, don't choose all of them, because you don't understand all the function of the application and it will only take a longer installation process and make it difficult for you to install Kali Linux on your computer. So the advice from guidecode.com is just leave the default. 21. Install Kali Linux group loader. Then install the group so that later you can enter the Kali Linux. Choose where you will install Kali Linux group loader. 2022. Kali Linux installation process complete. After finishing installing group, finally only one more step to complete the installation of Kali Linux. See the pictures below and click the continue button to reboot or restart your computer to enter the Kali Linux that you have installed. IDS process instruction detection system using Snort tools on Kali Linux server. First, install Snort in Kali Linux terminal script. Second, if already installed, use the next script. Script firewall on Kali Linux. 1. We will create a scenario to cancel an incoming ping request using a script. Second, disconnecting outgoing telnet connections. 3. Refuse incoming telnet. 4. Deny outgoing SSH. 5. Deny incoming SSH connection. 6. Drops all incoming connection on the specified network interface. 7. Deny incoming internet traffic except the specified IP address.